Oh, hold on, I got feedback from one of my monitors over here. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay. Oh, hello Paul. Right, so I'm going to start with, I've got a couple of bits here I'm going to open up, and also I've got somewhere down here the proper copy stand. But and the soldering iron is heating up as well. Let's just get in and see what these bits are first. Got them. Okay, so that is going to be a Raspberry Pi Zero. Got this one from Pimeroni. I'm only disappointed they didn't send me stickers. Sometimes Pimeroni send me stickers. Could always do more stickers. Share with my kids and for my laptop. So yes, Raspberry Pi Zero. Nice tiny thing. I'm sure people have seen these before. Got the headers for it, and since I'm on the soldering tonight, I might as well solder those up. What's going on? Oh, I see. You've got tape across the top of there. So we've got headers for it, not the hammer headers. Oh, yeah, I decided to just go with normal solder headers. Hammer headers sound fun, but nah, I'm going to go for the normal one. I suspect I don't actually trust myself not to bang it to pieces. There we go. And some USB adapters. So that's a USB adapter. That must be a mini HDMI to HDMI adapter. And a memory card, probably with noobs on it, I'd imagine. Probably Raspbian baked into noobs. Cool. Well, that'll go into the pile for things to solder up. And I'll pop those in the bag. Another thing here, which came from Everything Pi. So this is something else I ordered. Okay, so this is another JDY-08. Since I'm going to be soldering one of these onto a board tonight, I've ordered more than one because, you know, I was sent one as a sample, and I'm going to go into a recorded video on the whole business about the sample. Yes, it was either I kind of undid the mess I made with the previous one, or soldered up a fresh one. We'll get to that in a minute. And the final thing, which is a bit bigger, is this, which I think is going to be a copy stand. Let's get in there. Oh. Okay, no. Was ineffectual. Okay, oh gosh, right. I think that since we were talking soldering, I don't know about assembling this on air, so there's a big old table thing here. I'm not going to get it under that small camera. This is probably the actual stand, I say as I throw the knife across the room. Bolts and brackets to get into it. Let's just at least get this off and have a bit of a better look at what we've got going on here. Okay. Okay, I guess that's where you're going to mount the camera. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so this is a quick release camera bit. Okay, so you can strap the camera in there, bolt it on there for a quick release. Well, okay, it's a bit more fiddly than I think it should be, but there we go. This was not expensive. This was very, very cheap indeed. This was an eBay find. Come on. Okay. I suppose, I don't know how often I'd release it, but I suppose actually no, every time I take it down, because I'm not going to leave that camera stand out. Okay, and that's going to just bolt straight into there. Right, I'm not going to do that now, but maybe for my next session we'll be using that. Okay, So about Sunday we were kind of looking at fitting something on this board. Just grab it. So a company online, IC Station, asked me if I didn't mind reviewing one of their products for them, and they'd send me something to review. And I'm preparing a video reviewing it. But it arrived to me, it's so this is the original one they sent me. And let me see if I can get that a bit closer. I'm afraid I don't really have a stand that will allow me to move the camera down, but okay, I'll get this much closer. So come on, you're going to focus. Okay, so this is am I using OBS? So Paul's asked the OBS. Yes, I am using OBS, absolutely. So this is a Bluetooth system on a chip, and when it arrived, it came with absolutely no documentation. It just said Bluetooth iBeacon system on a chip. I did a bit of digging, found out that there was a certain TI chip. I'll probably go and put something in the docs at the end to say what the TI chip number was. I'll see if I can dig that out. But the actual board, after a bit of digging, turns out that it's called the JDY-08. And on the JDY-08, there's, I mean, obviously these are really tiny. These are 1.5 millimeter pitch. There's about 0.7 millimeters between each pad, and it came with no breakout. So I thought, okay, how can I tackle this? So my first attempt was I tried to use some copper wire and start spidering out, hence some of this stuff here. And A, it was really fragile, and B, I got really frustrated. I'll be fair and say, I mean, it probably takes a far more patient person than me to try and do that. So this one needs a bit of cleanup because there's an attempt made on it, and I might try and see if I can say suck away or clean the solder off of that. But I decided to get a secondary one. Now the first thing about the other one is, although it looks the same on top, underneath there's none of the silk screen. So I don't know if this has come out of a slightly different factory in China than the other one. I'm hoping they're both JDY-08s and they have the same TI chip on the top, so they should be the same like for like. So anyway, when I got sick of trying to solder that by hand, and somewhere I have my slightly abortive attempt. Oh, here it is. Here was my abortive attempt at soldering that by hand, where I was trying to bend these in and solder them into it. And yeah, that is an ugly job. I mean, part of the problem is I was having a really hard time. After I got these in, I'd start trying to position them, and either they break away, and I think this really cheap board, it kept delaminating. Now that may be my poor solder skills, so I'm not necessarily faulting the board here. So after I did that, I went and spent a bit of time in KiCad and designed this. Basically, I looked around online. I could not find one. I could not find someone who'd broken this thing out. So I did a breakout, and there may be more depth on it, but it's a two-sided board, and I'm not entirely happy with the distance between those traces, but I've checked with a multimeter, they're all fine. There's just one via here, where otherwise I'd have to route things right away around the outside. It's slightly wide for breadboarding, but it's designed for breadboarding. It's just so I could get these silk screen with the pin details on them, and as well as the full breakout, I also have a serial breakout here, so then I can just do the serial part only. My only worry about the serial bit is okay, back. Some slight temperamental thing, I don't know what that was. Anyway, sorry, yeah, it's the first PCB I've had done at a board house, so I'm kind of pleased with how that's come out. It's a V0.2, the V0.1 really only existed on paper, and it was when I realised I wasn't going to be able to get that silk screen any smaller without it being unreadable, so I made it bigger. The pads are slightly long, hopefully long enough for me to be able to tin them all, and the plan would be then to so tin those, get 2 sides of this connected up, and then put the rest in, and then put the headers in. But let's face it, this is probably going to be one of the more challenging solder jobs I've done. So bit of a moment of truth, really. I've no idea if this is going to work out the way I want it to. So this is all a bit tricky. Let's just hook that in there, and that's gonna, yeah, okay. There's my flux pen. There's my flux pen, but frustratingly, there's no cap on it, and I'm hoping that doesn't mean it's all gone dry and horrible. That would be a bit of a blow. Okay, the solder I've got is this, and I don't know why, but my usual habit is to actually clip off a chunk of solder. I do have a hot air gun. My fear with using hot air gun, so Paul has asked if I've got a hot air gun. I've done a bunch of jobs with a hot air gun, including there was some something I'd had some voltage level shifters. And the problem with the hot air gun on stuff which daughter boards like this is occasionally you end up with these things, the more finer circuitry here getting loose, and I mean, once it's gone, you know. I'm not going to really get one of those on, I think. But we'll, yeah. I think for desoldering, the hot air gun is beautiful. Okay, let's get this all fluxed up. I can't even see if I'm getting anything here. That's a bit of a concern. Is there anything coming out there? Ah, there we go. No, this appears to be dry as. I can hear it, but there we are. I don't know if the camera can catch that, but I can see loads of that lovely flux there. Okay, now the solder station is over here, so I suspect you're going to have more of my hands and less of my face for this bit. Let's try and tin up these pads. I'm just going to make sure that the solder tip is nice and clean. Okay. And I'm coming in at a slightly strange angle just because of doing this under the camera here. Bit more than that. Kind of tinning a couple at a time here. Could do with a bit more on that one. Now I've actually got a purifier on instead of my big fan, but and at the moment the flux fumes are not coming my way, but I think I might try and turn on that big noisy thing. So let's see how this sounds. So someone on the channel will have to tell me if this completely drowns me out, because I don't know how loud that sounds to you guys. That was rubbish. Okay, I'll get another angle on that. Feels better to go this way up, so I'm not coming back across my own work. Ah, okay, thank you. That's good to know. Okay, that's getting a bit... good stuff. So that hopefully that fan isn't, if you can still hear me fine, that's probably great actually. So there we go. Right, okay. Alrighty. Maybe I'll come back and give this one here a bit more. Not quite that much. See, I don't want to take these pads off either. That'd be a nightmare. So, getting this done. This took. Let's move that just that way. There we go. That's a bit better. This took only 7 days. Getting this made, and I had it done at a place in the UK, Ragworm. 7 working days, £7.50. I'd say that's pretty good, and that's just for one. So I suppose if it all works out, maybe I'll do more. Okay, so let's drop that on now. Oh gosh, that's going to be tricky. So that's probably riding on some of those pins that are slightly raised. So you notice I've kind of kept in my design other tracks clear of where the antenna is, in the hope that that might help. Or at least having this breakout won't hinder it slightly. But then, to be honest, if I'm going to put this on a breadboard, that's not going to do wonders for it either. Right, let me think about this. Is it that it's propped up on? Is it those? Oh, what's that? Is that residue I've left? Okay. What I might need is a slight prodding tool of some kind. Alright, that will kind of do to prod it down with. Okay, here goes nothing. Or maybe one thought about this would be, well, let's get one pin in. Let's just get one pin. Let's get the ground in. So if that's all lined up nicely, no, it's not gonna. It needs more, doesn't it? It's not going anywhere for me. And if anybody watching has tips and ideas and is about to tell me you're all doing it wrong, please do. That looks alright. Okay, it does look a bit of a dry joint there, but okay, I think these need a bit more than I thought. Oh. This is where also, perhaps, if I was really clever, I'd have fluxed these up as well, right? Let's do that for the rest of them. That has to be the right thing to do here. Now normally it's heat the joint and let the solder go up the joint, but in this case I can't quite. So I'm going to take that out, I'm not going to need those for this job. Okay. You know, I'm going to do this side first and come back for those. And a comfortable angle there. And that's kind of propped up on that side. Ah, there we go. Tell you what I'm going to do, because I don't fancy trying to solder just past there. Oh, look at that crap there. Hold on, let's just that's actual solder residue, not flux. Ooh. The only connection I don't really there is the first one I made. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, that. Okay, it's not my tidiest hour, but I think that's going to do the job. So I'll come back with a little bit of rubbing alcohol later. I've got some, and then take off that residue. But while the iron's hot, let's strike while the iron's hot, as they say. Oops. Oh, this is going to be probably a bit of a walk in the park in comparison. And the only thing that's slightly annoying about soldering these is you got that. Oh, wait a minute. I want to there's a certain amount of thermal mass in obviously these, but also it's just holding them on well. Maybe what I'll do is I'll get this set of croc clips underneath. Just if I do that, is that gonna mechanically sound? I don't think there's anywhere else I can put it. Right, well, let's get the end tube on. Hold on, I'm going to need more solder than that. Let's get another length off. So just I'm not going to test this tonight, so I'm going to probably test this in the next couple of days, although I can put the headers on it. Actually, that's a good point. I'll come round. Okay, looks like I'm going to be soldering headers for a bit then. Let's Still not mechanically quite right. No. Plus that's going to add to the thermal mass if that's actually... Could I get away with this if I drag that in there, clip that such that it's covering... I think I'm going to do it. Right, so that's biting both the board and the clip, so if I can get the end ones in I can give it a slightly less sort of a stress position. Okay. If I get the headers on that other board, I can at least use a multimeter and verify that those connections are as good as they looked. I mean, I see no reason why it's not going to work out. I'm going to be lazy. I could get my long nose pliers and feed the rest of that in, but come back for those middle ones because they're going to be just annoying. Well, by the time I get to them they won't be annoying because they'll be a very good mechanical connection because all the other pins are going to be in. So yeah, I suppose I kind of started with one pin and then the opposite pin. Sometimes I found with actually double in lines aren't too bad, but single in lines I sometimes find I solder in one pin, start soldering the other, pick it up and realise it's gone in at a slight angle, rest on the table. So it's a, yeah. What did I last do that with? Oh, it was a bag of level shifters actually. And it was during that point that I thought, well, I'm going to try and rework because I've got to take one of these off because it was it'd gone in all at the wrong angle. And then found, taking them all off, I know I'll use my lovely hot air gun. Which again, I've probably got about a total of 10 minutes experience using the hot air gun, so I suspect it's not the tool, it's my use of it that made it kind of make a brutal mess and delaminate half the components off of a board. Heated up the part I was intending to heat up, heated up everything else. Right, hold on now, I'll tell you what, that I can just rest on the table to do. Okay, that'll do for that one. There we are. Do the job. Pi 0, ready to accept whatever madness we throw at it. So in this bag of bits that I had alongside the JDY-08 has actually, that was my, I don't know if I can get the camera to view that. There we go. That was my first attempt at the design. You can see it's narrower, and the lighting's a bit off here, isn't it? There we are. So I attempted to do the silk screen down the side, but I found it was just not very readable. So that's why I went with what I eventually came with. And the angled corners, I just thought it'd be fun. I don't know. There was no real rhyme or reason other than I just thought, well, the Node MCU design did it for their 8266 breakout. I'm going to do it because I think it looks good. Right, now I've got to remember, before I solder in the serial header, the plan with this is that the these two headers will go in this way up, like that, and this header will go in that way up. So you'll be able to make your serial connections there, whereas these you kind of drop into a breadboard to work on it. Okay, so if I just get the first in clipping it, and then I think I will just carry on the table. Oh. Yeah, okay, that's too small to go in with that. Well, we can try it with this single inline with so what I did before when I did the voltage level shifters is I basically just rested it like this, and what I ended up finding, and I'm an example of one of them. Okay, they're somewhere in my robot cupboard. I'll come back for those later. Come on, we can. Okay, let's get my flux pen. Maybe I only needed to flux up one side, but yeah. I suppose it's just making sure mechanically that they don't splay outward, which is what happened to the other ones. They ended up splaying outwards. Okay, there's a bit too much airflow here. The posters are coming off the walls. I've got one of those reactive air purifying fans somewhere over there, as well as the Duratool. And I think it's decided, because of the flux and solder fumes, it's going to go right the way up to level 9. I think it only goes up to 10. I don't think. Well, I don't know if the makers of it were fans of Spinal Tap, so I don't think it has an 11 setting. Go on, I'm going to use this little bit because it's long enough that I'm not going to end up catching my fingers. You see, there's it's ever so slightly splayed outwards. I don't think it's enough that it's going to be a problem breadboarding, but it's just, yeah, okay. That one's easier because now I can get it straight on. I either end up with these flex that I don't use, or I go with these. It's far too much hassle, isn't it? Am I just being miserly trying to do that, and I actually can cause myself more grief than it's worth? Probably. You know, I'm happier not to be crossing the tiny daughter board doing that. Okay, that side. Hot. Now, let me just check. Got 4 people on, okay. Right, I'd say that's ready for testing. Okay, what does the flux pen do? Well, I picked up using a flux pen. Actually, it was a recommendation from Dave Jones on the EV blog. But I suppose, okay, so the solder is resin cord anyway. But I suppose it just gives you flux right where you need it. You get it on there, it's going to remove more of the oxides. I tend to find even when using flux cord solder, I get far better results having used the pen than not. Just in terms of solder sticking to stuff, I suppose. They're not... I'm back. Okay, if I turn this camera ever so slightly... No, stream's not killed. I just had a glitch. I don't know, maybe some kind of network glitch, I think. I'm with you, Paul, on I don't really understand the difference between flux and rosin either. I've seen, so at the local makerspace, there's a makerspace in Ham near Richmond, and someone there has got a pot of rosin that basically almost looks like really thick beeswax, and you know, they just kind of get a cotton bud and, you know, smudge that on pretty much like I've been using my flux pen. So yeah, I don't think I've ever used it myself in that form, but that had rosin, not flux, written on it. I think it's all doing the same thing, just preparing the surface. Okay, right, so here's the other job that I'm going to be doing. So the stream on Sunday, which was also a bit of a test, and I think Paul saw it, I was doing some board ideas in Fritzing. I'm just going to get Fritzing together so I can actually see them, and I'll put that on screen in just a second. Oh, it's actually solid. Okay, right. Oh, that's a... So let's just pop this up. You've only ever used the resin core solder. I'm using resin core as well, but this pen just it's just so much nicer. I don't know, I get just much better solder adhesion than I do without. Now, you know, I mean, that's what makes it easiest, I suppose. Right, if I now go that one and come back to here. Okay, so this design is Paul was with me on Sunday when I was coming up with this design, and I'm going to be just putting together this top one today on a board. So let me go and get some components. And header of 4 and a header of 5. Where are my bags of headers? So I'm going to start with the header just to kind of anchor myself. Okay, this will do nicely. Sorry about that, chaps. Okay, we have headers. So now got numbers written on both sides. I suppose if I'd have thought it through, well, maybe I can maybe go and print this out for me, for myself. So we've got a capacitor here, and I've not written the value, and that's cheating because I'm just going to use exactly the same capacitor I had on the original board. And this device here, which I have got the right pins on. Okay, good. So there is a serial connector here, which is going to mate basically directly with this, or it's going to have at least the headers to mate with this. I'm probably going to put a set of headers for the esp8266 to dock in with it, and yeah, okay. In terms of the LED, I've got a slightly less crusty LED that I'll switch to. Right, let's go back to the work setup. There we go. And take a print out of that, because I think, yeah, oh, I can see my my workshop camera. This is the newer camera, but it's okay, I'm going to try switching back. Okay, right, camera's back. Okay, let's just get when I attempted to print from Fritzing, I think it came out like this. Now, I think partially there's a printer malfunction because my children like to go and mess with the paper in the printer and nick it. just so they can draw it. Why not, I suppose. But yeah, I didn't quite expect. I suppose I was expecting Fritzing to perhaps give me. Well, okay, it's fine. There's no point making a moan about that. Okay, so let's again. What I didn't get round to doing, and I was thinking I might do it, so it was to reorganise the ESP down here, like I did for there, and then bring the LED out at the end, so I could even have the LED poking out of the end instead. Which would be nice. Right, let's just give myself some space to work. What I've got undone, there we are, is lose the LED. So maybe, I don't know, is it worth doing a tiny little redesign to see if I can have the LED just bent out on this edge? I can always get more components to do that. Let's just make this thing work. Okay. This thing, kind of prickly, this solder mat. I'm just presuming it's some very unpleasant fiberglass compound. Oh, let's let that. I might need to go over that joint again, just because I rocked it before it was solid. Yeah. Since I've got to kind of turn it upside down, get those in there. Okay. Yeah. That was frustrating. I should be putting female headers in there. I don't have it in my toolbox because if I put male headers, it's just going to need to dangle off like this. Paul saw this, I suppose. If you've not seen it, the original here. It's all kind of dangling off with this thing sticking out, which I kind of thought, well, I'd stick it out here so the antenna can be out and so on. But if I stick male headers on that, that's going to be sticking out there. Now what I could do, if I was kind of being slightly evil, is do most of the other work on the board, but I could just desolder the headers on there, solder headers on here, and then drop this on and solder it on. Because again, this is meant to be a more permanent fixture, so I'm not looking to remove the ESP module, at least not except for repair. So yeah, that might do. And they're going to go on the other side anyway. Okay, let's carry on as planned. In which case I will put male headers on and I'll desolder those later then. Ooh. That's better. Oh. Yeah, I've seen what I've done. Okay. I'm going to be able to have any. Somewhere here. Somewhere here I have some solder braid. So I'll take to do getting rid of that bit there. Just want a bit of this. Ah, look, I've gotten this far tonight without having this is the first annoying mess up. Oh, that is frustrating because it's gone right down into the I'm just not moving, it's shifting. I get that there. Ooh. There we go. Okay, all good. I can't help but wonder that it'd be nice to get this camera closer to what's going on down here. Is this clear what's going on? You know, let me know in the if that's clear. I wonder if there's any way I can perhaps bring this up or bring the camera down. The tripod it's on is actually at the lowest it's going to go. So yeah, perhaps this is a once I have a copy stand, these moments will make more sense. Right, I'm going to need to go flux that again because after desoldering it and probably putting lots of crud on it, let's get more flux on there. There's another YouTuber I occasionally watch. There's this chap called Lewis Rossman, and oh, good, you can see me. And he, if I put this over that way, or better yet, if I put this here, it's going to be slightly alarming for a second. But if I move my face up there, all right, there we go. So this chap Lewis Rossman, he does laptop repairs, and I think he's a New Yorker. He's mostly specialises in Apple laptop and phone repairs, and does a lot of soldering, obviously. Now, I'll warn you up front, he's quite a sweary chap, but if you watch him, he puts so much flux on everything he's doing, and to be fair, given the kind of like the fine repair jobs he's doing, and I look at it and you know there is a certain amount of, well, I haven't got a hope of, those look a bit dry to me, haven't got a hope of being able to do a repair job of the kind of, you know, the caliber that he's doing on anything. So yeah, he's well worth watching, and he uses so much flux on everything. I mean, he just dabs it on, loads of it. Right. So my thinking is with this, and I'll be fair and say I'm more used to strip boards and PCBs than doing things on perf board. But to wire up the components, to soldering all the components in the right places, and then go back with the hookup wires afterwards. Get rid of some of these things, get these out of the way. So, got an LED, need a resistor. 27s. That doesn't sound right. Okay. It's got a slightly strange marking on it, but apparently. So I'm looking for maybe 220 ohm. Have I been on TV before? Not really. I mean, I've occasionally been on shows, but that's more just accidentally or what have you. You know, not properly, no, not like my own show or on someone's big show or something like that. So I'm going to use these. The only thing that's interesting about these is they've got 218R written on them. So that should be brown, red, grey. Well, I don't know about you, and I don't know if you can see that, but I'm not seeing brown, red, grey there. That looks more like that's 220. Maybe they're 220s that were slightly off. So let's just, because that does look like red, red, black. Okay. No. So let's see. Okay, now that's upside down to me. That's upside down to you too. Okay, how can I? There we are. Aha. Okay. Cool. This should be. Yeah. Okay. They are 218. No, they're 220. This is just manufacturing variances. Fine. You know, 1 or 2 ohms here doesn't matter. Okay. So, I mean, the alternative plan would be I could always go with putting in a little pot for as a potentiometer, make the brightness adjustable. Right. I'm going to go with what did I have here? Oh, that was it. Something ridiculously low. Okay, there's a resistor. Capacitor. Voltage regulator. Now that is the pull-up resistor, so I'll maybe put one alongside there, that one down here, just so I can see where those are going to end up, and the rest is just wires. Okay. So on my design, now I'd kind of designed it with resistors. I was thinking, if you've ever seen 80s style or 90s style through hole, where they do that, the resistors, to get them in tighter. So I think I might do that. Okay, so if I flip this up like that, you see that's ever so slightly gappy again, isn't it? Okay, it's not the end of the world. It will probably, yeah, that'll bend just fine. So the idea here is that on this board, this whole row is going to be ground, and although there's no labelling quite on, well, no labelling on here, so DTR, RX, TX, 5 volts, clear to send, so yeah, data really clear to send. They don't really do anything, so they're mostly useless pins in this particular design, and ground. So it's the RX, TX, 5 volt and ground that I'm actually going to be using, and I believe this is the pin that needs to be held low. Okay, we'll put a bit more right there. Bend those in slightly, and in fact I can bend that straight out here, and we'll later solder that in there. Okay, bend that straight over there. Right, we can do that. Okay, so the LED is actually anywhere it'll fit. So the third row going up, I'll put this thing in. Now I'm slightly paranoid, maybe I'm going to go double check the data sheet because I want to make sure I'm going to put this in the right way. Unfortunately in Fritzing it wasn't particularly clear because I just used this generic 3-pin mystery part thing. Let's just do LD 133. I'll tell you what, if I go with there we are. Okay, so we're using the TO220 package. So we're saying that's ground, voltage out, voltage in. So if I'm going with my paper design, I'm going to turn that round. I may as well bunch it up here just so it's, there we are. V in, V out, and ground. V out is going to be on there. Hold on. Let's switch back. A minute. No, it's yeah. Okay, right, so I'm going to pop that in here. I've got a capacitor here. I've got a capacitor actually on the output only. I suppose I haven't put in a capacity for the input, but a capacitor for the input, which is slightly cheeky, but it is the kind of thing that there's room on here to add a bit later, I suppose. Again, cheeky, I know. Right, let's get that the right way up. And it's not particularly clear from the printout from Fritzing which pins, so that's the, yeah, okay. That's looking incredibly tight there. That'll do. Or will it? Would it be wrong to bend this over this way so there's no chance of this V out, and I don't know if the case here is connected through to ground, but it's not really something I want to take a chance on. Okay. Oops. You know, I'm going to have to change this a little bit because... No, maybe not. Let me see. That could always be also taking my V out. Okay, that's fine. Alright. So the LED is somewhere here. The LED, I'm going to give it a fair bit of slack there actually, so I can kind of angle that up. This is the LED's load resistor, or current reducing resistor. Go down to where we're going to have this ground. Okay, ooh, sorry, but, keeping it where people can see what's going on. Right, that's actually all the components there's going to be on this. So let's start. Okay, let's see if we can start putting these in, I suppose. So that board, they should, apart from this one that's dangling ever so slightly. Let's get everything else in and come back for that one. Oh dear, what's going on there? Why can't I get that to... Hello, back, yeah. Seems to go every, I don't know, there seems to be a periodicity to that. Is this I wonder if there's something just to do with the way my ISP is not liking this much upload. So the other nice thing about this circuit, by the way, is this circuit was above my door acting as a recording light, so it has been kind of battle tested, if you like. So I suppose if it doesn't work now, that's more to do with whether I've managed to faithfully convert my breadboard design to a perf board design, and my soldering and perf board skills. Which I'm not going to pretend are great, but they're good enough mostly. Right, okay. That's going to be ground. So, straighten this up. Do I have? I might well have something that will do that nicely. Okay, just some fine wire lengths. This is still fairly thick. So my thinking is, can I just bridge this? Is that going to work? Let's try that. If I can just bridge across here, plenty of solder. It's cheeky, but it might just do the trick. Yeah, okay, that's not going to work, is it? In which case, it's going to be this thing. Oh gosh, okay. It's all going to one. Huh? What do you reckon? It's not particularly high current. We're talking what, 200-300 milliamps best, but still, I'm not. Just make sure we get. Yeah, okay. That kind of works. It was going to go the other way, wasn't it? I suppose I bent it the other way for a reason. So I suppose we're going to need a longer length. There'll be another thing going to ground there. Right, I've got some really fine hookup wire here, which I'd originally bought actually for that system on a chip job that I stuck onto its own PCB. Let's just get in there. So I guess, unless some of these lengths are good, well, that might be just about right actually. Wait a minute. So here I'm basically just using the holes to hop on, I suppose. I'm not actually pushing this into the hole. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong there, but fine. Huh. That's an interesting idea. I suppose it's going to be what, a bunch of fine copper wire, right? That's you know what? That's a neat idea. I've never thought of that. I would never have thought of that. So just for the camera, because it doesn't actually show the live chat. UK8, oh, I don't know what the rest of that is. UK8 CVPAQ. Anyway, he says that he sometimes uses spent desoldering braid for high current tracks. Not an idea I'd come across, and actually, that sounds like quite a neat plan. I like that. I've just also realised that I am all out of focus here. Let's what's it focusing on? Is it focusing on my hands? Yeah, it is. Ah. Okay, right, I don't really know how to get it to... Unfortunately, this is not some fancy fixed focus camera. It's so that might be what I need to get, is a fixed focus or camera I can mess with a focus on that is also capable of streaming. See, yes, it's focused on this. Okay. That's a bit better. It's actually focused on my work now. Right. There's another YouTube channel I quite like. A chap, I think he goes under the nickname of AVE, who also does various soldering jobs. It's quite sweary. I tend to keep my channel from being sweary, but he seems to swear at his camera quite often. It's become, I think, almost a trademark for him to swear at his camera for not focusing. Right. I don't know if any of the people here do that. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's focusing on this, and if I tap it, I'm probably going to pull its attention to it, aren't I? Daft thing. Right, okay, if I get that one, attached to there, and then promptly lose that short length of wire I just prepared for it. Where did I put that? Over here. Is that just about long enough? It is if I'm probably do. Okay, this is really fiddly. If I get one side in, the other side is going to be significantly easier, right? Aha! We have, I believe, photonic. Paul Martin, the catchphrase is focus. Yes, it does work. Voice activated focus. Well, I don't know. Yeah, patience. I don't know, maybe. Yeah. Photonic induction has a mouth like a sewer too. Yeah. You see, with the AVE, it's not just he has a mouth like a sewer. He has some strange way of rephrasing perfectly innocent phrases into things I'm not even sure I'd want to watch in front of my wife. While being quite fun and technical at the same time. Yes, he's quite colourful in the way he does things. Right. So, oh yes, okay, so we have a ground track. At least I think we have a ground track. Yes, okay. Right. Well, this is beginning to work out. Have I got another proddy pokey tool? I've got a whole bag of them. Yeah, let's get a lot out. Come on. So when I got my like a real life Malcolm. I'm sorry, UK8. Who is Malcolm Tucker? I'm not sure I know. Right, with my what can I say, my hot air thing, solder station, I got a whole bag of different shape, probably for surface mount tweezers and poking sticks, which in this case are probably going to be extremely useful. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that some kind of wire wrap tool there? This is here. This is wire wrapping wire. So for the finer bits of work where I'm not using legs of pins, this will do nicely, or legs of components even. Right. So this one. Peter. I'm suddenly imagining a foul-mouthed Doctor Who. That would be an interesting, you know. He's always a kind of character, Doctor Who himself. You can imagine that if it wasn't a program that was sanitised by the BBC to be kid-friendly, it didn't scare the pants off them, he would be quite a foul-mouthed character. At least Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who and some of the others. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember the seeing Malcolm Tucker, but here we are. Right. Oh no, I've not missed one. Okay. Okay, so that's what we've gotten so far. May have overdone it because solder's blobbed out of the other side. Oh well. Okay. This one. Remember. V in, V out, ground. It's going to be easier if that goes up there. So it's going to be easier if that kind of comes up there. I bent it this way, but thinking about it, I might need to just loosen the solder so I can bring it up this way, because I don't think these are going to bend very well. And I can do a wire wrap wire connection going down to there and going across to there. So let's So there's a swearing clip of Doctor Who using Malcolm Tucker. Awesome. That's one for the watch list, perhaps not when the children are up, but I think that's yeah. I think I'd enjoy watching that. Gotcha. Okay. Right, that'll do. Now we can go back to... I wonder if it's going to focus better now I've got the end of that thing out of shot. I'm just pushing that in around there. I'm going to try and be sneaky and solder that right in with that already connected. In fact, I'm kind of wondering if I can, maybe not, no, okay, I just won't clip those off till I've wrapped all the other wires around them, but I'm going to still... This mat, by the way, while it is supposed to be, it is a solder mat of, and so on, I think it's just leaving me terribly itchy wherever I've come in contact with it. Yeah. Well, that may just be paranoia and memories of various kinds of glass fibre and other horrible fibres leaving me itchy after touching them. Okay, that's not... This is where I'm going to need these. Most certainly what these are good for. Oh, sugar. That's gone completely wrong because all of the extra slack on that is supposed to be coming out of the top there. Yeah, see, those were supposed to be all the way up there. Okay, let's see. That's too hot to do by hand. What I might do, I can do it this way, where if I come on, that's one get ouch. Okay. Strategy needed there. Right. Well, I said I was going to try and be clever, and trying to be clever has just landed me in a worse fix than if I'd have not bothered. Hooray! What have we learned? Neither of those is the ground pin. There. Okay. It's through. Is it through? It's not through far enough. There's still... Alright, let's use that lovely ball joint that this happened to come with. Let's flip that right the way upside down so I can see what's going on there. It's not going to accidentally make contact with anything that way up. Okay. Oh well. Now, there's the other thing I've observed, which is I didn't even bother with a flux pen on these particular pins. It doesn't appear to have made too much of a difference, so perhaps, I don't know. All anecdotal, huh? That does not look pleasant, but okay, that will do the trick. Right, can I get Fritzing to give me an upside down view? Inside out actual size. It's not a schematic. I suppose I'd use the breadboard view to lay it out. I can't get it to give me an inverse view. Okay. So I suppose I'm just going to have to flip it up in my head. Right. Okay. So, stripping wire wrap wire. Have I got strippers small enough? This is going to be overkill, right? I'm just going to pull a piece off if I try, but I think... Or, it's not going to make contact at all. Teeth! If I did that and my wife would caught me, she'd have me. But I used to use my teeth for all this kind of stuff. See, now you see there'd be video evidence of me doing it. To be honest, this is always what I used to do. This. All right. What about if? What about if I do this? No. Right. If I get that just right, angle of the tongue and all of that. Yeah, that's not going to do it. And those strippers are too heavy duty, and I don't think I've got any. Unless there's something like this that's bladed or something in this crazy kit that does specifically strip wire wrap wire, but see, there's a tool here that looks a lot like the kind of thing you kind of, I don't know, I'm guessing that you can actually kind of put that around a post and then wrap it round there or something. Is that? Snips very carefully before. That was what I was. Yeah. I'm going to persevere and try to do the next one with not my teeth. Because apart from anything else, I've got fingers probably covered in flux, which as far as I know is probably as toxic gets. I don't know how toxic it is, but I don't really want to have that to ingest any flux, I'm sure. Oh, sorry, I'm all the way off camera. I didn't realise that. It's good that I look up from my work to the monitor every now and again to see what's actually going on. Right, that needs to have a slight wider. I have actual tweezers here, so why am I using long nose pliers when I have actual tweezers? also assuming that these are going to help. That's the trick. Still feeling the ever so slight paranoia of I'm sure I got this the right way round, but you know, always double check such things. Okay, so that's voltage out, and that's got to go across to that pin there. So let's I'll just straighten this out a bit. Pop that down, and what I'll do is if I go and attach it to that there, trim off just a tad here, so yes, UK8, it's UK8 asks, is it bad to ingest solder? It's not so much the solder itself I'm worried about. I mean, I think this one actually is not lead-free solder. But most solders are lead-free. As far as I understand, the flux is much worse for you than the solder if you ingest it. But it does come with, I mean, this flux pen says what, for industrial use only, prior to use, read warnings and instructions on card as well as MSDS. Keep out of reach of children. So, yeah. Obviously, given products sold to industry, they will always err on the side of, what can I say, caution to the extent of almost total paranoia. Okay, so this has got to go across to this. I'll take off about there. And so if I kind of if I do that to score it, right, is that still long enough? Just about. It's just not maybe I should doing it with my teeth off camera, huh? It is the most reliable way of doing this. I mean, the simple fact is, the very simple fact is that my teeth are so much better at knowing when not to bite further. Now, what else have I got to go on here? Well, there is a fair amount of stuff, but actually going to use that hole, but it's just handy to hold things about. So let's get that side in. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Just gives me a bit of mechanical holding.
Eating a snack. Yum, yum, yum.
You know, there's another way I could do this. No, maybe not. Actually, I could just bend that out a bit. Have you guys ever seen the Cody's Lab channel, where he chews interesting metals and does, so how can I say, slightly interesting but alarming things with what I'd otherwise consider quite dangerous substances. So among other things, I mean, he filled a toilet with mercury and flushed it. Not an actual connected to the sewers toilet. It was one that he'd basically connected up to a bunch of buckets with its own system. Not cistern, but system, just to oh, great. That. Okay, do it like this. This is wire wrapped wire. Can I? Can I in some way? Wrap that right the way round there, like that. Look at it. Yes, Cody is a rare breed indeed. So his toilet did kind of block. I think what he did, I think the mercury did flush, and I think he used the mercury to flush down gold, didn't he? So he had a gold bar. So I think, as well as being very slightly crazy, he's got some very expensive rare metals hanging around. So he's both very loaded and not particularly concerned about the stuff he's got. I mean, you know, he takes what appears to be very fine gold or silver jewellery and puts it through quite interesting processes to show how you'd refine such things. I'm not going to hold that with my fingers. I will regret holding that with my fingers. There's also the bit where he mentions Minecraft, and my children are both huge Minecraft fans. And there's a bit where he actually does explosives down in a hole. An ass that deposits. No, not quite. Yeah, we could all do with that. He has gold. He had some gold ingots, and I think he took one and used the mercury to flush it down, because I don't, you know, it was kind of a heavy thing. And they did other things where he would dissolve gold in various acids, and then extract it again. I'll make sure that that's not going to interfere with any of the other bits near it. Okay, right, that's cool. The next pin Next pin is not connected, that pin's already done. That pin goes across to the RX pin, this one. This is no longer long enough. It might hopefully be long enough for one of the other connections. This one to this one. Right. Let's try to not have the insulation in. I can already see that TX pin, when I get to it, the one that is D3 on this board, is going to be a pain when I get to that. Yeah. I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Well, actually, I think the whole point would be we would not want to cross the bridge. We want to make sure it doesn't bridge. I thought that was fine enough. It's not quite fine enough. No, this way up. Oh, hello Samuel. No, that did not. I wonder if I put a tiny bit of pressure on here, and hopefully it's not going to take my fingers off. It's going to get quite warm because it's since a fine gauge wire with lots of heat applied to it. See, my thinking is I need more solder on that pad, and I suspect it's all gone out the other side. Ah, hard. Okay. It's not a needle iron tip. It's, well, it is actually. It's hard to tell. Let me just get it clearer. So Samuel Doy is just asking, is that a needle line tip? Should try a fine chisel tip. I find to get much better heat transfer. So in theory, this is actually a kind of a chisel tip. It's now gotten quite a, and that might be part of my problem. Is it's gotten quite gummy. Let's go give it a. Right, there we are. That's the tip I've got there. So I don't know if you can see, but it is actually slightly flattened. So my problem is, it's not so much that I wasn't getting the. Oh, wait a minute. Let's just go back and put this in again. So it wasn't so much that I couldn't get the pin to heat up, or the joint to heat up. It was more that I couldn't get the wire to mechanically stay in long enough to actually make the connection. But I'm kind of realising if I make a hook with my fingers on there, again, that maybe I'll damp more solder on there. Luckily, that's insulating well enough for me to not get roasted fingers. Blue tack. Blue tack. Oh, that's an idea. I've used that more than once for various jobs. Oh. Let me just have a quick run around. Oh look, there's a convenient blob right there. Thank you, that's a great idea. I've used it for various robots, other things, as in joining things together mechanically while I do stuff. Like putting the wire next to the pin, bridging them across with a block. Well, yeah, I mean, that's another more traditional way, but I'm getting the feeling that when I get to, and if I can get this to focus back on, come on, focus over here. Yeah, when I get to these ones here, that's not going to be an option. I suppose if I'd have moved it further in, that would have been an option. Yes. That would have worked. Okay, so now we've got, that's the RX, TX has got to go around to this end pin up here. Take about that much. Yeah, that's turning out to be quite a good way of making little, at least little loops, which I think make more sense than, I think that makes more sense than that. Teensy bit of blue tack. Now, if I put the blue tack here, away from where I'm actually doing the job, the soldering job, because I can't imagine blue tack's going to produce the most pleasant fumes when it's heated up. I'm going to try and direct that so it's not going to bridge the next pin. What is the next pin? Well, the next pin is actually the GPIO pin that goes to the LED. Okay. Something like this. And suddenly no longer long enough. Alright, misjudged that then. Give myself, oh, because I'm wrapping them, aren't I? So give myself a lot more. So I suppose I said in the description of the stream what it's going to be, but just in case, I'm saying this is going to be, I made a recording light with an esp8266 about, I don't know, some point last year, maybe even the year before, and I made it on a breadboard, and I was thinking, well, I'm going to make a more permanent version of it, and following this version that will be, if this works out, as in if my soldering is up for it, I'm going to then attempt a further version with a Max 2719. Rather than loops, I prefer to just leave a short length strip. You can easily tint before soldering it, and if you have just enough solder, you can just use stuff already on the board. I wonder how much easier this will be if instead of looping, if I do pre-tin the thing, because I'm finding that I'm not getting enough solder on it. That's... How is it tinned already? Doesn't really say. So what I'm using is this wire wrapping wire. Yeah, view of that. It isn't mechanically strong, but it's easier. Well, I suppose nobody's going to be particularly tugging on these wires, right? So okay, let's see if I can. Okay. Haven't quite got that all the way up to where the installation was. I've probably just taken half of that tinning off now, haven't I? Let's just take the other side. Definitely add more solder. Right, okay, fair enough. Let's give this a go. Why not? If what I was doing wasn't particularly working out, I'm willing to try. I suppose if I just pass the wire through there, it's going to be tinned, right? I'm imagining flux also helps with stopping it oxidizing. Okay. So that way. Going to be a fine job because that pin next to it, the one that's got the A marking next to it, is the GPIO pin I'm using. Oh, maybe if I can get this. So really, I want it to go that way and then wrap afterwards. But can I perhaps hold that there like that? This here like, if there's any adhesion left in this tack. Sorry. Yeah, I'm almost certainly going to trim off the extra. Alright. So I know that's crossing that one that's marked near the O2, but okay. Alright. That's not straight, but that's gonna hold. No, it's still not. What if I do that? Okay. Yep, there we go. I think I just needed to get the iron on it. And there we go, job done. Now, there is enough length on there that I'm still worried about a potential short there, actually. Yeah, I might get some tape on that. Now, This one's way too long. Right, okay, fine. We'll just take it off about there. That all seemed to help. Now you can see this is pre-tinned in some way, actually. It looks like it is. Just because as I heated it I saw copper. Right. See, it's this finer stuff here. Choose a tool to help me kind of hold that in place. That little pile of tools I put on the side beside me, and just decided to jump off the table. Let's put those back over there. Okay, right. So we've got your TX and your RX. Let's take this off because there's no way I want that. Okay. Oh, you see that? That's fine that that's across there. That does not matter too much. That is a problem, a massive problem. Well, you can tape it. For now, I am just going to get started on the next pin down, and then we'll come back to that. So the next pin down needs to come to this thing over here, marked R. That can be one of these smaller lengths. In fact, that length would do it just fine. There we go. Oh, what, tack this bit over here down? Yeah, potentially. This one I don't really know what I'm going to do with at the end there, but I could tack this further down here. Is that what you meant? So I could do that just to tidy that up. Pass this through again. I'm going to put this in against A. I'm going to clip it off in the middle there. I'm thinking. This one R could come up a bit. Yeah, I like it. Got to be careful doing jobs like that because that's how you end up pulling things off. So the part where I'm really worried about it shorting is up here. But I suppose what I could... Oh, I see. Maybe I could just take this across to some other random hole somewhere across there, and then well, there's not an issue really, is there? Can't do that. Yeah, let's not hold the side that's actually hot. Huh? Oh. I've got to make here. Oh, one of these goes down to ground. Okay, let's get the ground connection in, which is this one here. It's going to be the easiest connection of the lot. It should be. No, it's too short. Like just about long enough actually. Right, again I'm maybe thinking actually I'm going to come out here. Oops, bit impatient there. Send that right over to, just tack that down here actually. These two are. Okay, I'm getting a lot of drop connections issues here. There seems to be some kind of network problem. I haven't stopped streaming, but I am seeing a lot of issues. I'm just wondering what's happening and why I'm getting such a poor stream quality again. It was alright earlier. Am I back? Ah, no, wait a minute. Start. Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? Am I back? I'm back! Hooray! Kind of. Right, okay. What was I actually going to do next? Okay, yes, I was going to trim off this one here. This thing here. You know what? I wonder if this is going to get where that can't. Brutish tool. Yeah, there we go. It's got all this crud on it from opening packages, which I don't normally use it for, but. Okay, this one then, I suppose what I'm going to do, I'll have to finish up that bit up there as well, but got one of these connections that I needed. That one's not connected. Yeah, that one's not connected as well. Okay. Cool. Not cutting through that one. That would be good. What I'm going to do then, because this is just short enough to end up shorting there, is perhaps just again pick something like over here where it's kind of clear of anything else. That's where that blue tack ended up. I wonder if I can just, yeah, I can trim off the other end. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to move that then, did I? There we go, that's fine. Oops. Is everyone there still with me on the stream? Just give me a yay if you can still see me, because I'm kind of vaguely worried now. OBS tells me everything is fine, but I had so many dropouts just now. I think another thing that might be nice next time, if I have to do this again, is to get some different coloured wire wrap wire. And this wire is the right gauge, it's just if it's all blue, I quite like the idea of having a colour code to it. Oh, come on. Oh, excellent. Thank you, guys. Okay, so there's one other connection I've got to make. So I'm going to take that one off as well. That's a blade that's been abused, I'm afraid. And it's being abused more now, I suppose. It's not really designed for this, but it's okay. That needs to go on there. It's a relatively simple, or relatively easy connection compared with the others. That one needs to go down to ground. What I'll do there, I think, is bring it in there. Getting a bit croaky here. Okay, bring that in there. Just a tad on the long side, but will do. So this soldering iron is just one of those old Maplin jobbies, and one of the annoying things is after using it for a while, I don't know, after about 40 minutes of use, I have to go back and tighten this because it just loosens itself up, which is just a strange little thing. And after it starts to do that, you start to get thermal problems with the tip as well if that loosens right up, and you're not actually getting the tip, I suppose, the back of the tip's probably not making good contact with the heating element. Right, okay. So, I think that should be just a matter of tidying up. I don't think I've missed any connections. So there is the 3 volts, and the TX, RX is where we've got that extra bit there. So we're going to know pretty quickly if that was good, the RX there. Hold on, let's try and get it to focus. Come on. I wonder. Let's bring that up. Yay. Okay, so we've got, so that, no, sorry, that's the TX, which has got this extra bit around in the middle. That's the GPIO. I guess we're going to drop the ESP on and see if it's going to work. That's the next step. Alright, we've got to clip that off as well. Now that's the LED. That's the other one that came through, that's okay. There's far too much coming through with that capacitor, so I'm not entirely happy with that. Where's the tweezers? I'm at least going to make sure So yeah, there's far too much there on that cap. Let's try and get a good angle on that. Make sure there we go, that's a bit better. Okay. And the LED, might be nicer to put the LED out that way because the LED is what we want to see. There's an awful lot of wasted space on this board, but hey, you know, that's alright, I don't know. I suppose again there is room for another capacitor potentially across what the input as well as the output. That's alright, there's nothing shorted there. Let's tidy up that. No, I'm going to need this. We appear to have been joined by the Fonz. If I am getting high, it's on solder and flux fumes. Oh yeah, that one. Allowed to poke through earlier. Bit of that. Okay, so let's take this off here. Now, here's a thought. Let's put this in where I can just look at it and ponder it to make sure it's going to be the right way up. Let's get rid of this cumbersome thing. See. Oh yes, indeed. Ouch. I hope you've not singed yourself too badly there, Samuel. There you go, there's a good use of blue tack. So those, I believe, yeah, that's all individual, what do they call them, DuPont cables. So I'm just going to put that where I can ponder which way up this was. Oh, but I've already pulled it off. Well, there you go. That was silly of me. Right, data sheet. Need the data sheet. Or at least the pins. esp8266 pin out. Just so I can remember which way up it needs to go. So I think if I look at my design, it was always meant to go this way. So if I do it this way up, that's ground. Yes, okay, and then wait a minute. Yeah, I've got at least it's one of those where you end up with various burns, isn't it, from soldering? Yeah. There's a proper bad one there. Desoldering has always led to more incidents than soldering. I've rarely burned myself soldering, but desoldering, I remember desoldering some, there's a 3-pin package, possibly a really old style transistor. As I took it, I desoldered it, got it off, picked it up. It was still hot, but worse than that, one of the pins kind of embedded itself in my finger. It was burning. Oh, ow. Yes. That was quite painful. So yes, desoldering tends to be, you know, that was, I went through a point of salvaging old radios for fun. Right. I'm also going to go and view an image. And OBS Studio tells me I'm back. Let's just see if YouTube thinks I'm back as well. Come on, YouTube. Yay! Right. I've just printed off one of them, so that will help. So if I've got this right, if GND is put this in view. Okay. I think I have slightly cocked up this design because you see that pin there is TX. Okay, good. Is that right? Done it worse in the past. I've mastered not touching the iron or gun. Yes, indeed, just not touching the things they just... Yes, that's it. Okay, I get the horrible feeling I have made a terrible mistake here because... And I think the terrible mistake is in the actual design that I did the other day in Fritzing. Where I laid this thing out. So this is pretty much as that's designed. Where, okay, that's TX, yes, but this is supposed to be the GPIO, and I've had, instead of so I believe the pull down resistor was supposed to be on this pin there, and the LED is supposed to be on that pin. So I've swapped those, so I may need to go and basically take some of the wire wrap wires off of these connections. Gonna need to take off the resistor there and rework that. RX, see, RX is right. Hold on, that bar's just in the wrong place, isn't it? So, okay, so RX there is correct. It is this GPIO and CHPD that I've swapped, and I'm just wondering how I managed to do that here. No, TX and what's... It is just these inner pins. That's GCC, and here, sorry, it's VCC, and now I've actually connected that GND. And it's not like I've just done that. It's like I have just... Yeah, okay, that's quite a mess, isn't it? Let's find a pen. Oh, and scribble on this a bit. So because on this board that's VCC there, that's GND, And just so actually that means it's got to be this way up, not this way up. That then should be currently connected to TX, should be RX. That's frustrating enough. How many times have I done that? So KiCad, I used KiCad for this thing, which was my how I started the video earlier today, which is a breakout board I created for a JDY-08. For laying out this thing, I just kind of thought, well, I'll just drag and drop them on Fritzing. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. I've not seen if KiCad does the laying out on a bit of perf board. Maybe it does. Maybe I should have a look at how I could have done that there. Yeah. So we have that TX must be RX. That RX must be TX. Okay, so maybe we can swap those over at this end, or at those midway points. Or if I flip the whole thing over, this pin and this pin will be in the right place. So if I put that over up there, CHPD, and that will be in the right place. TX and RX will be in the right place. It's just that I suppose actually no, if I flip the whole thing round, am I right in it's just the voltage and the ground that are wrong? Is that it? Can I just... I think that's... I think if I just voltage and ground, I don't know. Yeah. So let's go and start swapping things around. I just have to desolder and move a couple of these, which I've already trimmed annoyingly, but okay. Let's not melt my pen. That's not going to be the most useful of wires to... Oh look! Hello, back again. Okay, that's... I presume when you stream long enough, this becomes normal that you get dropouts occasionally. Alright, so this one next. That also is a bit untidy, and let's face it, of all the things you want to short to, voltage and ground are the least desirable, I think. Not that anything would be good there, but you know. Am I back? Can you all see me? I'm getting... It says 97 dropped frames, so it apparently isn't all that bad, but still. Okay. No, wait a minute, like that. I realise, because I'm having to rework it, my patience has worn a bit thinner with doing it properly, and I'm getting a little bit more gung-ho with this, so I'm sure is not a good thing. And I've got a solder bridge right there. That's it. Oh. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. PCB mod E. No, I don't think so actually. So I mean, I've obviously, yes. So I've used KiCad definitely for the PCB stuff and for the other bits. I've mucked around with Eagle. The biggest thing that put me off Eagle actually is, as well as all of this, I'm quite into doing various scripting things. And I remember I had something where I was trying to do something with the Eagle scripting system, and their not quite version of C drove me absolutely bonkers. I was infuriated. It was almost C, but there was just enough missing to wind me right up, and it was almost like, you know, I kind of had a rant to myself about, you know, basically it's the why re-implement your own language. Now admittedly they were perhaps from an earlier era where they'd come up with this thing before there was, you know, so many other languages you can embed. And in previous occupations I had designed once my own programming language for, it was only a simple thing, it was a game system for scripting a particular part of the game. And we did this, came up with this idea where I kind of created various logical operators and everything, but it ended up being so frustrating. The target was to try and get the game designers to use it, as opposed to coming to developers with changes. And the problem is it was complicated enough to drive. You know, it meant they never really liked it like we did. And yeah. Oh, aesthetically pleasing boards, really? Editing an in-state. Okay, so. Samuel Doy, one of the people viewing, has just mentioned this program called PCB Mod E, and apparently so you can create more aesthetically pleasing boards. A lot of editing in Inkscape, just and so. I wonder if that's what, because I don't know if anyone here has follows or sees what Pimeroni have done, but they've got their P-Hat. Oh, I heard about Eagle going subscription only. There was a big EV blog rant about that, which I watched, and yeah, his rants are quite fun, aren't they? They are quite fun. So yeah, there was this, is it Audio P-Hat for the Raspberry Pi or for the Raspberry Pi Zero that Pimeroni have recently come up with, and I mean it's just a beautiful design for electronics. You know, it's yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm distracted enough that I want to show this one because it's absolutely beautiful. Let's just go over to the full screen, and Pimeroni, and where was their audio fat, is it? Not that one. Oh, speaker fat, that's it. I mean, I saw this and this just blew me away. I mean, that's, as electronic design goes, that's just something extra, something special. And the VU meter, these are a set of LEDs as well. Oh, well, hold on. Let's put this where you can actually see it. I've just realised I can't see this in the, there we are. Okay, yeah, these LEDs are just... So I'm wondering if they've used a similar program or something for this then. Let's just, I'll tell you what, I'm going to move my face because I've just realised I'm in all the wrong places there. Let's, there we go. I wonder if, I've not figured out if there's a way in Open Broadcast Studio to show the picture-in-picture with my face always on top. But yeah, I mean, they've got, basically they've got your solder mask, your screen printing, the actual board colour, you've got the LEDs. They've just used all of it to make this really amazing design. Yeah, at the moment my the extent of my PCB design is the is this thing here. This is the only PCB design I've done yet. I'm happy with that. I mean, you know, it's a first one I've had done in a board house. It's simple, but I think it's effective. I'm gonna later try out and get it to do something. Come on, focus. There we go. Gotcha. Yeah. Nowhere near as fancy as that. I'm still pleased with it. I did use the design rule checks in KiCad, but I don't like how close these two traces have ended up. Now, I mean, there's a thicker trace here because I think that's your ground trace. I just think maybe this via could have dropped that via down further to give bigger clearance between the ground trace and these signal traces here. But I mean, otherwise, I mean, this is, you know, I'm fairly pleased with how it's turned out. The proof will be when I try and plug it in later and get a response from it. Right, okay, so I've now swapped my ground and voltages on this. So we should now have, and I'm looking at it upside down, so there's TX, that's voltage there, TX, wait a minute, I have done what I wanted to do, have I? Oops. Go on, stop me before I make a complete mess of this. Right. It's going this way up. Is it? Oh, let's have a look. Okay. So PCB mod E. If we go pick that up and have a look at that. Oh, I got a bit. I rather love Hackaday. That's I nearly said something else there. Oh, that is nice. Okay, and that's all. That's a huge PCB. Right, hold on. Again, let's just. That must have cost a huge amount to get that properly sorted out and done. And that looks far too. Gosh, that's amazing though. PCB as a diffuser. Well, yeah, okay, I suppose. I mean, as long as you aren't going for a 4-layer board, I don't see why that wouldn't work. Yeah, that is gorgeous. Right, I have got myself tied in a knot here with this, haven't I? Because it's still, it wasn't just as simple as swapping GND and VCC. Oh, TX and RX. So if that's Wait a minute. This comes of what I did is I went pretty much straight from taking this to board. I did not go via a schematic for this. I really just, I mean, at some point I had a sketch of what I was going to build. I built it on breadboard and it worked. Switching to this, yeah. See, there's no way that that pin can be ground because that has to be the GPIO. That pin there has to be GPIO too. Or well, yeah, the only other or is that that pin is GPIO2 and that comes out here, but then I suppose this is it, it's swap. If I wanted this to face this way, which is what I really do want it to do, oh, well, that's interesting. One of these pins is all bent out of shape. So I want this to actually face that way there. And if I wanted to do that, then X is already in the right place, voltage is already in the right place. It is just this GPIO and infuriatingly that pull down there that are in the wrong place. Okay, well, good night, Samuel. Hopefully, by the end of this, I'll have this up and running and doing what it was supposed to do. So there's your TX. Do you know, I'm wondering if I've gotten confused by the fact that the marking TX on there is of course going to be going to the RX on that. Let's just remember that, because that would have set me right off, because of course what's coming in as TX from my serial device is actually going to need to go to RX there and RX to TX there, right? Yeah, that's how I got myself confused on that. And if that is the case, then this pin up here down there. TX and RX, GPIO, VCC, GMD. Yeah, that's it. It does go in this way. Okay, I have got this right. Okay. That was frustrating. I have not got a spare ESP01 hanging around. So the only spares I've got hanging around are the full-on Node MCU boards, the ESP12E and something else. There's another one, something like that. The big brother of all this. The worst of it off with this. So my plan now is to basically suck these off. Oh, these are all in a 2-pin. Really? I don't remember actually soldering this on, but so I don't know if it came this way or if I did it just so long ago that the memory of doing it has left me. But okay, this is almost certainly not soldered by me because it's 4 rows of 2, not 2 rows of 4. I'd have done 2 rows of 4, right? So this is almost certainly, which means I could just heat it up and tug on it, I reckon. Let's just see if I can. Ouch. There's me picking up hot stuff. Desoldering. Exactly what we talked about earlier. Okay. That's, yeah. The problem with using this to pull it off, of course, is that my pliers are going to be eating up all the thermal capacity of my soldering iron. Yay, we got one. I'm going to try and swap hands on the iron for this, just because I need more force from the other hand. Oh, come on. Right, that's not quite how I expected it to come out, but okay, if I use a finger there, then I'm probably going to burn it. So let's so I'm just not sure I can take off. I don't reckon I'm going to have better luck with the soldering braid doing this. like that, it's going to be less of that hassle. Less of it maybe. That rather obviously got quite hot there. I'm just wondering if I kind of push that on and mash that in nice and hot, is it going to suck up all that solder for me? Oh yeah, that's quite effective. Good. So I'm also planning on doing another live stream in the weekend. I might do others as well, but the weekend we're going to do one where I'm going to invite one of my children to basically pick a robot from the robot cupboard, and we're going to just basically start hacking away on stuff to do with it. So children have both got basically their favourite robots, not necessarily the ones they built. And various things they want to try, and John mentioned he wants to try and do a robot that would pick up Lego. I'm presuming this is to get out of tidying his bedroom, which to me is a perfectly valid reason to build a robot, especially when you're nearly 6. That's pretty good to me. And I think Helena, she wanted to do something with one of the other robots in there. I think it was the there's an NXT based robot that's a walker that I built based on some plans from the internet. The only problem is it tends to pull itself apart every now and again, so it works, but it's a little bit fragile. Now let's not use the cutter for that. Okay, I don't know. Ow! Don't want to destroy that aerial. Let's move this. I still got anybody. There's still someone with me. Wasn't entirely sure. I'm realising it is getting close to the time when we'll be calling it a night. In local time here, it's now coming up 20 to midnight, so there will be a time fairly soon from now where I will have to call it a night, and it would just be nice. It would just be really nice to have at least have this mounted. Take care of this. Yeah, I can feel it now. I did burn my fingers good there. Not the first. It's a long way from ever being the last. If I weight that with a bit of weight on it, will it pull itself out when it's warm enough? That was wishful thinking. Put this in here. I wonder if I could play this another way. So use the helping hands. Board like this. Okay, not to destroy any of those tiny fine surface mount jollies. Just ping round. Let's just put this in view more. This is not ideal from the thermal mass perspective, but potentially do you know what? I'm going to get brutal on this. See, why are those, if they're rows of two, so well adhered? They've been super glued on as well or something. Oh, smell that burning plastic. Nice. Okay, that's left a lovely residue on my iron. I'm just going to give it a good clean. And I've got some solder tip and tinner here, which produces plenty unpleasant fumes, but we'll leave it in better condition than that. Yeah, what I almost want here, if I can find my own set, that would be even better. Well, these will still do. Do that with these. I was going to try and use the pair at the same time, but no, I can't actually get both fingers in doing that. Okay, so it does have to be the tweezers, because then I can kind of go that way. This is one of those moments when the heat gun would make short work of that, as long as, and this is a big one, as long as I didn't go and direct it anywhere near those surface mount things. Lovely little squeak as these get pushed through that plastic. Just kind of wanting to that's the trick. Come on. Okay, see that pin that's kind of lolling to one side almost sounds like it's not connected to the board anymore. Is it just? No, it is, it's still got something there. Yeah, down to 2. Three, maybe that was now down to 2. Hooray! Right, that's it. Bit of a mess. Let's not do that on the paper, let's do that on the lovely solder mat that I've got, because soldering and iron and paper do not sound like the best combination. It's just it was useful while I was trying to work out those connections, which way up everything would go. Right, let's Right, I'm hoping none of those pads have delaminated. They'd look fine, but that's a potential issue. Okay, so get some more of that in there. Giving the iron a bit of time to recover here, but okay, that's as good as it gets now. I've got to be honest, holding that up to the camera, come on, focus. It does not fill me with confidence. I'm going to give you nothing else to focus on. You're going to focus. Good. Yeah, so those pads do look like they've seen better days, so I'm hoping I've not done any damage to it doing that. Okay. Now these, worryingly, are they just much bigger than the original ones? No, they look the same. Okay, maybe I'm going to have to just push it on with some force. Ouch! Pushed it on with some force, and then the force came through to my fingers. Nice. There we go. That's wedged on nicely. Now I'm just thinking, okay, a teeny blob of solder on each of them. Again, that's awkward, really. That's sticking out there. It's probably better for its antenna than it is. That's assuming that I have not utterly destroyed it with my efforts. Let's carry on assuming that, because that would be nice, right? Now it may be this is well enough attached anyway. one last pin. And then the only thing really left to do is to clean up and to try it out. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave trying it out for another session, because it's now 5 to midnight. I think that is time to call it a night. So, okay, we've done a couple of jobs with the soldering. We put this particular thing together, which was the immediate or the main part of it. And it's still having trouble focusing on that. We stuck some headers on a Pi 0, soldered, not hammered. I've also sort of soldered the this JDY-08 module on, and the headers on there. And now it's interesting, I realise one thing I've left off here, and I thought it was supposed to be there, was the marking, the JDY-08 marking. So look, it says V2 Orion Robots, beautiful, open hardware, great. It doesn't actually say what it is. And in my original design for that, which I had earlier, there was supposed to be a JDY-08 marking there. So I might have to go and look at that in KiCad. Anyway, good night and goodbye, and hopefully I'll see you for another stream, and I'm probably going to publish some of my recorded stuff some point later. So enjoy, and thank you all for watching. Bye!